All right, happy Sunday. Welcome to our first Discipline Dreamers planning session. This is not going to be long. It is not going to be a full hour. This is not going to be anything like that. The intent of this call is, it's not a focused training on what your micro niche is or who your target audience is or how to curate perfectly beautiful graphics or any of that. This is like, let's get a game plan, because too much information and not enough action can leave you completely paralyzed. And when you are sitting there and you have a minute to work, you have no idea what to do or where to go or what to anything. And that's what the intent of this call is, to minimize. So we're going to start by filling out our week. This is a session. I actually need more steps today, but I didn't do it on the treadmill because I need to be in front of my planner. I need to, if we're going to effectively plan out the week, I've got to have it ready, pen and paper. It's how I work. So start to fill out your week. The priorities. Start with the things that you're never going to miss, right? Like your kids' appointments or your work or your meetings or your practices or where you're going to be. Make sure you're putting in travel time, right? Like if your kids have a 5:30 practice and you've got to leave the house by 5, that 30-minute block gets blocked out because you've got to drive, right? Make sure you're penciling it all in. And I am going to drop the power hours that are happening this week in the chat pod so that you can, and I'll try to verbally say them here for anybody who, is watching the recording, and then put the ones that you can commit to in your calendar. I must be loud. My husband's shutting the door on me. Get them in the calendar now and make those a priority too. I would highly recommend, 1, 2 at a minimum getting on these power hours. A lot of them are recorded. You can always catch the replay when you have a power hour to work. But I tell you what, that level of accountability, when you're like, I'm going to be on these ones, and throwing that in our chat pod and saying hey, I'm going to be on the chat pod or the power hour today at 9 a.m. Who else is going to join me? That's going to raise your level of accountability. So let's start by filling that out. And I was just going to say, feel free to unmute in chat. This isn't Katie presenting at you guys. This is just us working together. So, all right, let's see. So power hours this week are Tuesday at 9:30 a.m., Wednesday at 10 a.m., Thursday at 12 p.m., and Friday at 10 a.m. So they're all morning and or lunches. I'll drop them in the chat too if you missed any of that, and make sure you pencil in any that you can do, and feel free to tell us which ones you're going to be on or planning to be on.
Katie, are you looking at the monthly calendar or the weekly one I posted?
I'm doing the monthly one.
Okay, there was a change, a couple changes actually. So I do try to post the weekly one every week because there are changes.
You already posted?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tuesday is actually 1 p.m.
Okay.
And Wednesday is 9 a.m.
So 9:30 on Monday, 1 p.m. Tuesday.
Oh, is there a 9:30 on Monday?
It was on the big calendar. No. Oh, no, maybe you're right. Maybe. Sorry.
Okay. My God, did I mess up the weekly one?
No, you might be right.
Okay, I don't have one for Monday.
You're right. TFTF call is 7:30, 8 o'clock on Monday.
Yes.
So 8 p.m. Tuesday's 1 p.m. you said?
Yeah, that's what you should be doing that lot, holy ground.
Jesse, I just muted you. Yes, you're muted. I don't know if you want it to be or if you wanted to be unmuted, but I just muted you. Okay, power hours are in the chat from Nicole's post. So she is right. These are always in the team page. She puts a week at a glance. So you can always go into the team page and see what those are, but I highly recommend grabbing what you can and putting it in your calendar and making it a point to be on them, because if you're just if I'm available, I'll get on, your productivity goes down, right? Because the chances of you actually just sitting there doing absolutely nothing are probably slim. And as you're filling out your calendar, again, because I don't want this to take like forever, we can all just kind of sit here and work together, you know, at getting this done. But the next thing, the thing that I'm paying attention to, and I'm trying to, and this is like me saying, hi, I'm on this call too, because I also need help and I also need accountability and I also need like focus. But here's my tip. If you look at your feed on Instagram, like Instagram is the one that matters. If it like looks good and looks like it's put together and looks like you have like a vibe going. So when you're planning out your post for this week, whether you're planning to post 7 days a week or 5 days a week or 3 days a week, that's up to you. But every third post should be similar in style, right? So if you're somebody like Nicole who does a quote, she does a quote every third post. So that doesn't mean every 3 days, because maybe she doesn't post every single day, 7 days a week, but every third one is going to be a quote. So if you're going for a vibe like that, or like, you know, maybe it's a black and white one, or maybe it's a certain font that you're using, or maybe it's, you know, whatever, just think about your feed. And as you are, if you want something to line up down your feed, that's all the same color, right? Or all the same type of thing, you do it by posting that thing every third post. So the next thing we're going to look at as we fill in our calendar is we're going to get our posting ideas out there, right? What are you talking about this week? What value are you providing this week? What are you sharing with your audience this week? Are you going to do something like, you know, a inspirational quote or a recipe or something every third post, so that we can pencil that in, and then you know exactly what you're going to post every single day. And it doesn't have to, like, this planning session can go as far as you literally creating all the reels and put them in your draft so that they're ready for you to post. That's up to you how much time you want to spend on your Sundays to prep for the week. What you know, only you know what your week looks like. If you know deep down that you're never going to take the 10 minutes to create the post and get it up, then do it right now. You're on this call, put in 2 hours of work right now and get it all done, and stay on this call until 10 p.m. instead of going to watch Netflix. So it's all done for the whole week. If you're somebody who does okay on the fly, or you have time crafted in your day to get your post up, then that's fine too, right? I'm not saying you have to stay on this call and have everything ready to go for the week, but you have to give yourself that gut check. Like, am I actually going to take 5 to 10 minutes on Wednesday to prepare a recipe and share it because that's what I wrote down I'm going to do? Or do I need to take that time right now and get it done so that all I have to do is post it on that day, right? So that's what I'm working on penciling in over here. If you have questions again, or ideas, or you want to bounce some things, just unmute, right?
I also want to remind you guys it's Memorial Day weekend. So think ahead about that, right? What do you have going on this weekend? I'm not going to be working hardly at all on Saturday, but I'm probably going to get up Saturday morning between, 6 and 7 to knock out a little bit of work, do my workout, whatever. Not going to be working at all on Sunday. I'm hosting our entire family over here. Probably not going to be working much on Monday next week either. So when I'm thinking about my next weeks of posts and reels, like I'm thinking about that, trying to get some of that stuff done ahead of time. And also, how can you incorporate the holiday in, and maybe some polls about the holiday, right? As we're leading up to this weekend, do your kids have school on Friday? Do you have the day off? Do you, whatever. And also thinking about, we're getting close to the end of the school year. How can you incorporate some things along those lines? Some people are ending this week. We go through next week. So just a couple things to think about, like how can you really try to relate to your audience? Maybe some of your posts kind of go along the lines with, end of school, or maybe they don't. Maybe you have some tie to Memorial Day that you want to share and be relatable about on Sunday or Monday or whatever. So just a couple thoughts too. One more thing to add. So I know you all are wanting to really move your business forward and really make an income. 1 hour a day for working your business is like a bare minimum. So how can you fit that in, right? Is it 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening? 2 hours per day is where I would say you really need to be to get all of your posting done, to get all your check-ins done in your groups, to be checking in on your clients, to do all the connecting, the posting, like all of that stuff, like it adds up, right? So try to, how can you get 2 hours in at least a couple days a week, and then that hour every day, at least 5 to 6 days a week.
And also, I had a day that I didn't have content prepared. I didn't have what I was going to post. I had no idea. I was in one of those, like, I wasn't creative. I couldn't come up with anything. And rather than not posting, which is a typical Katie behavior, I was on a power hour, and it was Jamie's power hour. And she said, and I was like mind blown. She just goes into her insights. And so in Instagram, she went into her insights, and she went to her, not last 7 days, but go like last 30 or 90 days even. And come down here into your content and see, how'd she do that? Down here into shares, into all your content, and into what people are sharing of your content. And it's taking a second to load, but she was like, I just go through that and I grab one that's relatively old. I pull that video, I put it in my new font, my new vibe, whatever your look is on Instagram, and repost it. And I did that with like a recipe that I had done that, in my opinion, I share a million times, and it's not even that exciting. And I still got comments and thank yous, and this looks good. And it was a huge reminder to me that just because you posted it one time, we're so vain, right? We think everybody saw that post, everybody remembered that post, everybody knows that post is out there, and it couldn't be further from the truth. So if you're having a day, or even in right now, right, you're like, I know I want to do a recipe reel that day, or I know I want to do a transformation post that day. Okay, so yeah, I can walk through it again. So you go into your insights. So the three little dots, sorry, I don't know how to make this like not glare. Like this screen here, I know it's on an angle, and then I click on insights, and then I go to, instead of last 7 days, like last 30 days or last 90 days. And then I believe click on reels. And then your metric, instead of how many it reached, go by something like how many shares or how many plays or how many interactions, like any of those, like whatever you're trying to do. And that's going to be something that your people really responded to. So share it again, redo it, change it a little bit, right? Like, gives you an idea. You don't have to repurpose that exact thing, right? You're not going to repost that exact same thing, but you can get that and change the caption up a little bit, or change the way you present that information, or whatever the case may be, and be able to just reshare that data every 30, 60, 90 days, right?
Or even just a new trending audio, like super simple way to just reshare the same exact thing with new audio. Like, yeah, such a good point.
The next thing I'm gonna add into my weekly calendar, and I really encourage you guys to too, whether you have a team of 1 or a team of 300, success, like you recognize the behaviors that you want to continue to see repeated, right? So I highly recommend putting in recognition throughout your week. Are you gonna do a client shout out on Tuesday? Are you gonna do a team shout out on Wednesday, a success update on Thursday, a team cycle bonus shout out on Friday, most engaged client of the week, right? Like think about, depending on your team size and how you want to do it, there has to, for me, I got to get right back to like daily recognition of some sort. So I like to sit down today and put that in there, right? Like I know on Monday, I'm going to do a roadmap update. And on Tuesday, I'm going to do a success club update. And on Wednesday, right? So like start to pencil that stuff in. also, oh,
Go ahead.
Nicole and I think alike. I'm talking in my stories because anytime you work this business, remember, we have a new partner, mentor, whatever that called, new partner mentorship starting tomorrow. And the only way you're ever going to recruit business builders is if you talk about the business. This is a perfect opportunity to do that. Hop on there, even if you're catching the recording, right? Like, hey, my team hosted a planning session and I couldn't make it on live. I'm watching the recording now. I'm like, and then talk about like how that helps you and what it does for you and why you're on this call live. If you're on here live, like, why are you on here and how is that helping you? And because this is something that's also available to your partners, right? Like you want to show them that they have support, that they can come ask questions, that they can get ideas, that they're not just like stranded on an island. All right, Nicole, pass, tag, you're it.
To add on to that, prop your phone up and take a little video of you working. You can use that as content, right? Always taking little B-rolls like that. Put anything over it, right? It can be mom life. It can be work, like the business that we're doing. It can be how to stay organized, whatever it is, right? You can put anything over top of it, any audio, any words. And then the other thing I wanted to say is just to be like super specific about what you're doing, even in your like little morning pocket, whether that's connecting, inviting, posting, like what are you doing exactly during your work time? How much time are you spending on that? And then when you sit down in the morning, like you know exactly what you're doing between 5 and 5:10. 5:10 and 5:15, 5:15 and 5:30, right? If you only have like short, limited little pockets during the day, that's what I recommend. And then using the timer on your phone to actually stick to that and hold yourself accountable to that.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I've got a lot to still get done tonight. I feel super good about this. I'll just share kind of what my schedule looks like. Keep in mind that everybody's posting schedule is gonna be very specific to you and your person and who you're trying to help and what you're trying to share. For me, I'm really focusing on like the busy sports lifestyle and how I feed my kids, but still fit my nutrition into feeding that, right? Like people love my family style recipes. So I'm going to share Monday's dinner recipe, what we have planned. I'm just going to share that as a reel. So that's my post content for Monday. I'm going to do like how to control your routine as you go into summer. Like how can you ensure your routine is ready for summer? I'm going to talk about how much sugar you're getting in a day, like how much you should be getting and just a quick way to like kind of gut check that. I'm going to share my grocery, how I plan my groceries, like as far as going from my list to the grocery store to my meal plans, like how I do that. And then I'm going to talk about steps to stay on track over the holiday weekend. So that's my plan for the next 5 posts. And obviously I don't have them created. I don't have them ready to go, but I've got the idea ready there. And I do put time in my day every day to do those. So I'm not necessarily creating them all tonight, but wanted to share that. If you guys have your weeks planned out and you want to drop them in the chat or you want to unmute, like feel free to share them. And then I'm going to pop back in here. Actually, I'll probably stop recording now unless anybody has anything else to add. All right. Then I will stop recording, but feel free to stay on and stay working. Thank you for those of you on live. Thank you for those of you who caught the replay. I hope this was helpful. And stay tuned for just lots in that chat pod, you guys. And I know Nicole's the same way. Like, we are using this chat pod for our own accountability, and I need the extra push from you guys. If I'm going to hit big goals, if you're going to hit big goals, like, we need each other to really lean on and make that happen. So it starts here. Give yourself a congratulations for either listening to this call or being on live. It says a lot about the success you're going to see this year, and that's really, really cool. So happy Sunday.